Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, I always do this with my hands when I'm introducing like the video, and I don't know why. Alright, so today's video I'm going to be talking about, as the title suggests, in today's video I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite affordable drugstore foundations for oily skin in the summer. I hope by the time I'm editing this video I think of like a better title, but basically I'm going to be talking about the best foundations for oily skin in the summer, like the most lasting, the most mattifying, the most oil controlling drugstore foundations that I have personally found over the years, that I've discovered, and I'm going to be talking about why I like them, how they wear, all that stuff, because I do have oily skin and I wasn't born into a lot of money, so I definitely dabble more into drugstore. That's where I started buying most of my makeup, was definitely drugstore. So I feel like I've gathered a lot of knowledge because, again, of my skin type and, you know, what I was able to reach for the most. So I'm very excited for this video personally because it's a subject that hits very close to home, as I've explained. And I know a lot of you guys out there want to know like the tea on these type of foundations, because I get a lot of requests on Snapchat and on Instagram. A lot of you guys DM me and ask me like, what are the best foundations in my price range, in my budget, that I can afford for my type of skin. And I have gotten like requests on like a good foundation for dry skin. I really don't know. The only one that I recommend universally is my Dream Liquid Mousse foundation, because I just think that that foundation is bomb and I love it for like anything. But oily skin is something that I know, it's something that I deal with. I am pretty normal out here, but right here I do have very oily skin and it's something that I've struggled with. It's definitely gotten better throughout the years, but I still get oily skin, and especially in the summer is when we battle it the most, I feel. So that is why I wanted to do this video like now, as we are definitely starting to get into summer more. That's what we're going to be talking about. If you guys are interested in knowing my 5 clutch, mattifying, oil controlling, keep you from blotting foundations for the heat, then just keep on watching. I know that a lot of people nowadays are like really against matte foundations, and I don't know why. Even girls with like oily skin are like, I don't like matte foundations, and it's so weird to me because I love matte foundations. I do like to glow a little bit here and there, but I think nothing really beats like matte skin for me. Like, that's just me personally. Like I always prefer a more natural finish and to choose where I want my highlight to be. But I definitely noticed like the love isn't so real for matte foundations anymore, and I feel like in the past it really was. I still really like matte foundations, I'm not gonna lie. Let me take a sip of my matcha, because we're going to be talking a lot and I'm about to be parched. I'm not going to try to go in any specific order. Actually, you know what? I'll go in order of like my personal favorites. There we go. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is one that I actually recently started using and that I actually really like, and I can't believe I've slept on it. Oh, I got it here. And I can't believe I've slept on it for such a long time. Like, I really have been sleeping on this foundation. I have never even given it a shot. But then again, I've never really given this brand much of a shot either. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation, and I use the shade 203 True Beige. This is supposed to be a lightweight shine control foundation. I really like this. I think it lives up to the claim of it keeps you matte, and it really does help control your oils throughout the day. The only thing that I have to be really honest about, you guys know I try to keep it hood here, is I feel like if you have texture or if you have a lot of pores, you might want to use a smoothing foundation, a smoothing primer underneath this, because after about an hour of wear, it really starts to seep into those fine lines and it will amplify the look of your pores, even if you don't have a lot of pores. Like, I'm personally really porous right here, but not up here. And when I was wearing this, I saw all of my pores right here. And naked skin, I don't have a lot of pores right here. Like I said, they're usually just right here, like on the apples of my cheeks a little bit, and it's not even that bad. But this was amplifying like literally every line, and it was about an hour into the wear of the foundation. I wore this for about 3 hours, I will say 3-4 hours, and it was completely matte. I didn't have to blot once, which if you're somebody who you're not looking for a very long wearing foundation, I could vouch that at least for 4 hours this kept my T-zone very matte. But like I said, the only thing that I didn't like about it is that it kind of amplified the look of my pores, which I didn't didn't really like, because like I said, I don't really have a problem with my pores. Like, I'm not somebody that has to use like silicone based primers or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty good when it comes to my pore situation. Like I said, I'm trying to be really honest here, but this is a very affordable foundation. Rimmel in general is a very affordable brand, and I think this foundation is around $5. I will pop up the prices somewhere around here, but I really do like this foundation, again, because of its longevity. I will just remember, I have just found that when I use like smoothing primers, this definitely looks a lot better and wears a lot better. I haven't worn this all day yet, but I will, and I will keep you guys updated. But as of now, I really do like this foundation. It's affordable, it's very matte, which I appreciate. It's already made its rounds on YouTube, I believe. Like, this is actually something that's been like talked about already. The next one I want to talk about isn't necessarily a matte foundation. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation. You guys know that my love for this foundation has become really real. I had a first impressions on this foundation, and when I made my first impressions video, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. The color that I got really ghosted my skin out, and because of that, I judged it a lot on the shade that I got, which was my bad and something that you shouldn't do. This foundation isn't necessarily a matte foundation. I think this claims to have a natural finish. It's just supposed to be meant for photography. It's not necessarily meant to look luminous or matte. It's supposed to be a very natural looking foundation. But this on me, guys, wears so matte, and I don't know why, because I think this does have oil in it, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to correct me, but I don't think this is oil free. But this wears on me a good 6 hours, and then it'll start to break up on me. But this keeps me pretty matte. Keep in mind, I do use a mattifying spray with it, but I don't use silicone based primers that often on my channel, and I don't mix this foundation with silicone based primers or mattifying primers, because like I said, this keeps me pretty matte already. And I don't know what it is, but it just, on me at least, it leaves a very natural like liquid to powder feeling on my skin, which I really like. And I just really love this foundation. I love the way it wears, and I love the way it feels, and it doesn't break me out. It photographs beautifully, obviously. We knew that already. Love this foundation. And personally on me, I find that it wears pretty matte, and I don't really notice shine until about 4 hours in, but it's not even like a bad shine. It just turns more natural. Like I said, after 6 hours, it starts to break up on like a little bit on my nose, but not anything like crazy. Most foundations do on me anyway. I was really shocked about that when I first got this foundation, of how matte it like kept on my skin. But I really do like this, and I highly recommend it to anybody with oily skin. Give it a shot. Like, it shocked me, and it might surprise you. The next foundation I want to talk about is by ELF. This is the ELF, I think, Acne Fighting Foundation, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go ahead and look it up right now. Oh, and by the way, this is very affordable too. It's Wet n Wild, and I believe this foundation is again around $5. This is the ELF Acne Fighting Foundation. This foundation will run you around $6 at Target or on the ELF website, but this foundation is so good. I was shocked when I did my full face ELF how good this foundation was, and I actually use foundation more often than not. The packaging reminds me a lot to my Makeup Forever matte velvet foundation. Like, look at that. It's crazy. The only thing is, the ELF one is a matte top, and the Makeup Forever is a glossy top. Either way though, this is a really good foundation, and it does keep a very nice matte finish. This isn't an extreme matte. This is more of a soft kind of matte. It keeps the oils under control. It wears a great amount of time. I think it wears a nice 6 to 7 hours on me before it starts to break up. Keep in mind, all of these foundations, no matter what it is, I always do set with a powder, because I rather set with powders, and I'm used to setting with powders, so just keep that in mind. But this foundation is bomb. It's so dope, and it does have like the acne fighting technology in it, which is really good for those days when you're having breakouts, for that time of the month, whatever. I personally do use this a lot around the time when I'm about to get my period, because of the acne fighting that it has. I do wear this with my NYX Tea Tree Skin Balance Elixir, which you guys know is one of my favorite primers of all time, and it just wears really nicely. It does start to, like I said, it does start to break up around my nose, which my nose is the most oiliest part of my entire face, around 6 hours. But even then, I feel like if a foundation can get me through half of my day, which will be around 6 hours, it's a great foundation. That's a win for me, because I've had foundations that literally after 4 hours are melting off of my skin. So 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, that's a win. The fourth foundation, I have to talk about this guy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you guys were waiting for it, is my Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I use the shade Natural Beige 220. This is my perfect shade. This foundation and this shade is literally my skin in a bottle. It's so perfect on me. I love this foundation to death. And I've talked about it in favorites. I've talked about it in videos. I think there was a time for literally a month. This was the only foundation I wore in every tutorial. I'm pretty sure you guys are getting sick of seeing it, but this is one of my favorite foundations of all time. Honestly, this is like giving this one a reference when you guys know that the Dream Liquid Mousse foundation from Maybelline is my all-time holy grail favorite foundation. Can't even explain to you guys how much I love this foundation. But this one is giving this one a run for its money. The only thing that I do like more about this one is that it keeps me a lot more matte than this one. This one is definitely foundation you have to prime for if you have oily skin, and you definitely have to set if you have oily skin, which I do both. I've learned to work with this foundation because I love it so much, and even though it's not like a mattifying foundation, it's a very natural finish and something I think anybody with any skin type can work with. This one has that mattifying technology in it. It's named the Matte and Poreless foundation for a reason because the coverage on this is beautiful. It doesn't sink into pores the way the Rimmel one does. This one wears beautifully. The coverage is gorgeous. The shade range is outstanding for drugstore, and it is super affordable, and it's just an all-around great formula. I will say that this, again, I can wear for 6 to 7 hours comfortably. After a while though, it does start to break apart around my nose area. That's gonna be a pattern you hear in the video. I'm sure you've heard it a lot already, but this does wear really great, and I really love this foundation. The finish that I would say it gives is kind of like a very natural matte, because it's not matte. It's not necessarily like a super matte foundation. It has a very natural finish, not shiny. Personally on me, before I set it, the way it looks, it just looks very nice and very healthy, but not dewy and not glowy. It's just an all-around great foundation, and I know that it's super raved about on YouTube, but that's for a reason, guys. I swear this foundation, if you haven't tried it already, it'll change your life. It's so good. It's just a great foundation, and it's perfect for those of you with oily skin or those of us with oily skin, and it's just a perfect summer foundation because it's pretty lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel cakey, and it's just perfect. I can't say enough about this foundation. It's a great foundation. I love it. Moving on to the best foundation, hands down, in my opinion, if you guys have really oily skin and only have a drugstore budget to work with for foundation, look no further. This is the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible. I wear the shade 108. I believe it is caramel beige. This foundation is the best foundation I've ever used to mattify my skin. Ever. This, I swear to Bob, this keeps me way more matte for way longer than my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet foundation. I do love this foundation. I'll tell you guys that. You guys know I love this foundation. It's one of my all-time favorites, but this foundation, holy crap, does this control your oil. Holy crap, does this keep you matte. This is a foundation that I am wearing right now. And the only reason you see me glowing right now is because I'm wearing highlight and a blush topper. But if you guys were to zoom into my skin, you wouldn't see an ounce of oil. You wouldn't see an ounce of anything other than beautiful, flawless matte coverage. This, I will say, the back kind of lies to you because the back says that the coverage is medium. I think this is a pretty full coverage foundation, honestly. At least on me, I think this is pretty freaking full coverage. You can build this up too if you want. You can build it up. The texture is air light. Very air light. I will give it that. It didn't lie to you there. It's not a very heavy foundation. The finish says it is demi matte. This is matte. This isn't a demi matte. I consider this to be a demi matte. This is not a demi matte. This is matte. This is the definition of matte. Some people, I personally, when I'm having like a dry spell on my skin, I have to mix this with some Fix Plus or with like a really moisturizing primer underneath because this is very matte and it can get drying really fast. In the summertime, this is the most perfect foundation. If you want something to last you more than 10 hours, which I have tried this, and the reason I am wearing this today is because I have a very long day ahead of me and it's morning time right now, but I promise you by the time I get home, this foundation is not gonna look even a little shaken. Actually, I would say after the 8-hour mark, it's gonna start looking demi matte. That's when it looks demi matte. After like 7 or 8 hours, it starts looking demi matte. But those first 7 hours or those first 6 hours, at least on me, it is completely matte and flawless and perfect, and it does not move, it does not budge. It's amazing. This is the best foundation I could ever recommend for you guys in the summertime. Like, it's perfect. It's so perfect and it's beautiful beautiful. This foundation I know a lot of people don't like because it's very matte. If you have dry skin, don't even look at it. Don't even bother, because this will make you even more dry. If you have normal skin and like a dewy finish, don't look at it, fam. It's not for you. But if you have oily skin, and if you want a foundation to wear and last and look beautiful and give you amazing coverage, then look at it, stare at it, grab it, buy it, love it, and cherish it, because it's so worth it. It's amazing. I know a lot of people don't like this foundation because it's super matte, and like I said, so many people don't like matte foundations out of nowhere. Not I, said the cat. I fucking love this foundation. Like the love and the attachment is so real. I love it. If I want to look a little bit more natural and not so matte, like I said, I just kind of mix my primers up, or I make sure I wear a really hydrating moisturizer underneath, what have you. You can really play around with this foundation, but it's gorgeous. I will say the shade selection is a little on the orange side, but they do have a great selection for anybody that's like super fair to like dark colored girls. I think L'Oreal does a good job at that. I wish they would expand the range just a little bit more for my type of skin tone, because it's been really hard for me to like find the most perfect one. I think 108 right now for this summer is really good for me. That's the only thing. This foundation is the most expensive foundation out of all of them. I will say this will run you around 10 to 12 bucks. I paid 30 something for this one, and this one still beats this one out. Like this one can't hold. No. Hands down. I love it. But alright guys, I think that is all I have to say. I have rambled and raved and talked about all of the love of my life. I personally love matte foundation. I think I always will. I'm not really, you know, you guys have seen my channel. I keep it pretty real with you guys. I'm not really into like the glow life. I know like everybody and their moms are super into it, but right now I think I'm still really like a matte girl at heart, and I'd rather look matte than super shiny. I just started highlighting like a few months ago, and I'm still slowly kind of dabbling into that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or any other matte foundations that you guys would like for me to try from the drugstore, I'm always open to try new foundations if they are more of a matte finish. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I have, like I said, I already said a lot, and I think that's all I have to say. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. You guys know I love to talk to you guys. Please remember to subscribe and hit my face right over here, and check out these other videos that I have for you. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.